Time now for your forecast first. WRBL News 3 First Alert Weather.
Nothing like seeing fair weather clouds in the sky. They're like cotton balls, and they're not producing any rain. We're still dry and comfortable, seriously, because we're not talking about humidity. Then, oh yeah, here comes that front stalled out here in the extended forecast. That's going to set the stage for more humidity and perhaps a little pop-up shower here and there, but not right away for Saturday. It'll be very remote before we start talking about bigger coverage in this extended forecast. Next 24 hours, though, the heat is still on. More in that weekend forecast with some changes coming up. The news starts right now.
On your side, this is News 3 First Edition.
Just 24 hours ago, their brother was gunned down here in this part of Macon County. Tonight, two sisters are now begging for a ceasefire when it comes to gun violence. I'm News 3's Elizabeth White with a live report coming up.
Two national organizations are coming together to repair the fractured relationship between the community and law enforcement in the Fountain City.
Plus, the family of a missing man speaks exclusively with News 3 as they desperately seek information to help find their loved one.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for trusting News 3. I'm Teresa Whitaker. We're taking you to East Alabama now, where we have new information in the shooting death of a Macon County father. News 3's Elizabeth White joins us live from the shooting scene in the Little Texas community off Highway 29 South. Elizabeth.
Teresa, good afternoon to you. Just behind me across 29 South here in Little Texas of Macon County, back in that wood line, there sits a mobile home, and that is the crime scene where investigators say 27-year-old Eric Williams was shot multiple times and killed. Macon County investigators say the shooting happened around 6:15 last night. Investigators do have the suspected shooter in custody, but at this hour they are not sharing his name or the circumstances surrounding this deadly shooting. Now, as the investigation continues, his family is mourning and begging for gun violence to end.
I don't think a lot of people realize the things they do when they bring guns or even violence into situations. Like I said, they don't think about the people who are left to suffer. Just now having to think about my niece and my nephew who has to grow up now without a father. I just really urge, especially our community, the black community, to put the guns away. There's a solution to all of this, and guns is definitely not the solution.
Tonight at 6, the sisters share with us the relationship they say the gunman had with their brother. Plus, they are using their pain and their family is experiencing, as well as their professions, to hopefully encourage others to put down the weapons. Also, just got off the phone with Macon County Sheriff Andre Brunson, who says he does expect to release a suspect's name either later on today or first thing tomorrow morning. We will, of course, keep you updated. We'll be back here live at 6. Teresa, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Liz. And now this News 3 exclusive. The father of a missing Columbus man is offering a reward for any information that leads to finding his son. News 3's Jolyn Adams joins us now with more from the emotional interview and plea for help. Jolyn.
The picture you see right here is Samuel Hewitt Jr. The 49-year-old was last heard from around May 13th. His father, Samuel Hewitt Sr., is now offering a $20,000 reward for anyone who can provide information that brings his son home. Hewitt Sr. says they've not been able to locate his son's truck, cell phone, nor track any purchases. He says their family is having a hard time coping, and the not knowing where Hewitt Jr. is the hardest part. And he says he's desperate to find him.
I was told that the people that he was associating with was not of the best character, and that, you know, if I offered a sufficient amount of money, more than likely one of them is going to start talking.
Hewitt Sr. says friends are pitching in for a total of $30,000 in reward money. Hewitt Jr. also has a son of his own. Hewitt Sr. says that he and his grandson are leaning on each other for support and desperately seeking answers. I'll have more from the Hewitt family coming up at 6. And if you have any information on Samuel Hewitt Jr.'s disappearance, you're asked to call Columbus Police. That number can be found on our website, WRBL.com. Teresa.
All right, thank you so much, Jolyn. On the Crime Watch now, Columbus police are investigating a deadly accident that happened early this morning. Deputy Coroner Freeman Worley has identified the victim as 30-year-old DeAndre Satel Singh. Officials say Satel Singh, a pedestrian, was hit by a vehicle. The accident happened along 13th Avenue near Winton and Buena Vista Roads. This morning, police shut down a portion of the 1300 block of 13th Avenue to conduct the investigation. 31-year-old Henry Cobb has been charged with leaving the scene of an accident and vehicle homicide without malice. Well, this afternoon, the Columbus Police Department is searching for a missing teenage girl. The family of 15-year-old Niall Washington, take a good look, says the teen ran away on May 27th at 5 in the morning. Niall was last seen wearing gray sweatpants, a black jacket, a white headband with her hair in a ponytail. She was also wearing bedroom slippers with flowers on them and carrying a brown purse. When Niall left home, she was wearing an ankle monitor. In a separate missing persons case, Columbus police need your help finding this woman. 29-year-old Chanel Johnson was last seen in the Lake Bottom area near 17th Avenue back on May 2nd. If you have seen either of the two women, please call the Columbus Police Department Special Victims Unit or 911. Well, News 3 is on your side, examining an upcoming event geared towards repairing the relationship between law enforcement and the African-American community. News 3's Michaela Singleton joins us now with why local moms and law enforcement are joining together to prevent future tragedies. Michaela.
Well, Teresa, this Saturday's event is called Law Enforcement and Our Sons. It's being put on by the recently founded Columbus chapter of Mothers of Black Boys United, or MOB, and the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, or NOBLE. Now, they both hope that they can eliminate the incorrect assumptions about black men and also those about law enforcement officers. When I spoke with one MOB mom this afternoon, she brought up examples like Trayvon Martin, Philando Castile, Walter Scott, all the situations that could have ended very differently, but also the oversaturation of these videos on social media, which can lead those who watch to hold a grudge against either side of that debate. Muskogee County Marshal Greg Countryman is a member of NOBLE, and his office will host Saturday's event. He says to eliminate our biases, we first need to understand each other.
We always teach people that public safety officers are to be respected. Well, we have to also train public safety officers to also know that the public has to be respected. In the 21st century, arresting is not always the answer.
A GBI agent will be running the workshop and educating attendees on how to interact with law enforcement, citizenship, and the rights that every individual has. The workshop is also open to the public, and everyone is encouraged to come regardless of race and to help start that conversation to move the community forward. It will be at the Marshal's Office Training Room on the second floor of the Government Center from 10 a.m. to noon. You can find more information on how to attend on our website, WRBL.com. Teresa?
All right, thank you so much, Michaela. WellCare of Georgia is making rounds through Columbus today. This afternoon, the organization is hosting a block party at the Elizabeth Canty apartment complex. The event's organizer says there's food, activities for children, and an overall family atmosphere. Folks who live in the homes can have a good time while also learning about taking care of their health.
Is to create awareness within the communities, a fun activity for the kids, but at the same time to create awareness about your health and eating healthy, and about the WellCare Medicaid program, Pitch Care for Kids.
The event kicked off around 3:30 and still happening now until 5:30. Well, across Georgia, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation reports an increase in methamphetamine-related deaths. Deaths are up 40% from 2016 to 2017. That's 343 people in 2017 compared to 243 in 2016. Law enforcement cleaned up a meth house in Columbus on 18th Street. GBI spokesperson Nellie Miles says meth is becoming a major problem in the state and wants to make the public aware.
This is a drug that wreaks havoc on the central nervous system. It increases your heart rate, increases your body temperature, and it really keeps your heart out of sync with your body. You have no idea what you're really getting. These things are not quality control tested and made safe for your purpose.
Miles said they're seeing meth in all parts of the state. The drug meth makes up 46% of all the drugs tested in the GBI lab. Well, making news now, a source says lawyers for former NFL star Colin Kaepernick will try to subpoena President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence in the players' case against the NFL. Yahoo Sports was first to report the news. Kaepernick started making political headlines in 2016 for refusing to stand for the national anthem before games. He and other players made a practice of kneeling to protest racial injustice and police brutality. In 2017, he opted out of his contract with the San Francisco 49ers to become a free agent, but no one hired him. He filed a grievance accusing the league of colluding to keep him from getting a job. ESPN reports that the point of the subpoenaing the president and his VP is to find out what they said to the NFL about Kaepernick's free agency. Making news now around the world, a group of children who were badly burned in Guatemala's recent volcanic eruption arrived in the U.S. early today. We'll have that story for you when we come back. Stay with us. A group of children who were badly burned in Guatemala's recent volcanic eruption arrived in the U.S. early today. At least 6 critically injured children landed in Galveston, Texas, just before 5 this morning. They will be receiving treatment at the Shriners Hospital there. The hospital says it sent an emergency medical team to Guatemala within 24 hours of the eruption. At least 99 people have died since the Fuego volcano erupted Sunday, and nearly 200 others are still missing. The volcano hasn't quieted down either. It expelled more rock and gas Tuesday, and disaster relief officials warned that more pyroclastic flow, a mix of ash, rock, and volcanic gases, is possible in the coming days. Bob?
Now, News 3 brings you your first alert forecast.
And Teresa, good thing we don't have that, but we have to deal with some tropical weather perhaps coming way down the line about a week from today. But until then, we're going to be seeing this dry weather continue for another day and a half, we'll give you. Saturday, we'll be talking about a stray pop-up shower storm coming in. We're 93 right now, pretty much what we forecasted. Peaked about 94 today. And humidity, look at, not really a huge factor here. Some little bug on that live camera lens there from the Phoenix City Amphitheater camera. So today, we climbed up to 94. So I just told you 68 was our morning low. And a quarter of an inch so far for the month. Could there be more added to this? Certainly, with this weather forecast pattern I'm going to show you right now. This is the raincast models. And let's watch it. Pardon me, I just had a little hiccup there. A little hiccup. Usually have those in the weather maps, but in this case, this is a reality. We got a little weak front coming through the central part of the U.S., and this is a front that's kind of draped across at least the coastal areas of the Carolinas down through Georgia and across central Florida. And what it'll do is set a boundary. It adds like a little layer of instability, so it could trigger a shower or storm here and there right along that line. So what we're going to be seeing is this: warm conditions, a little bit more humidity. Cloud cover starting to build. You get those fair weather clouds. A couple of them are going to pop a little light shower, storm, mostly south and east. You can see on Saturday afternoon of Columbus. But again, this is not a washout weekend to start out with. But eventually, the coverage will grow each afternoon. It'll be very summer-like. And starting tomorrow, we're going to be back in the lower 90s again, and we're going to see a little bit more fairer weather cloud cover than what we did today. And that's by way of seeing the humidity increase. It is what it is, right? So with some of the heat out there, we're at 94 still in Eufaula, all the way back down to Troy, Alabama, and we were in the upper 80s here, right along areas of Macon County. We get into Lee County as well, upper 80s, 94 Montgomery. We get across Russell County, around Cottondon, all the way up to Phoenix City, about 93, and around areas around Buena Vista, Marion County, holding around 90, 91. So here we are for the day planner for Friday then. We're going to start out in the lower 70s. We'll end up with about 93. Expect a few more fair weather clouds in the afternoon. I probably could put a few more of those puffier ones in there, but you'll get the picture. We'll see more sun than clouds. So the 7-day forecast then, let's take a walk right through Flag Day. That's right. Look at that, 1777. I think that's when we started our nation. And certainly speaking about that, big topic for flags. No matter how you look at it, we appreciate all those men and women who served our country for that flag right there. And that happens to be my birthday. I like that. Well, that's one I can't forget, right? So we're looking at these temperatures holding there 90 all the way through the period. Maybe a little cooler on Flag Day Thursday because we're going to be watching the tropics entry, so will there be some tropical moisture in that. And, of course, so the convertible ride with Teresa Whitaker continues. This will be the last you see of this. But riding in her Lamborghini and her Delta plate telling us all, that, hey, it's still convertible weather. For now, that's all about the change, though, coming up in that forecast. And we'll talk about lightning safety at 6/5 Central.
All right, Bob, thank you.
Okay.
And today's Consumer Watch, social media giant Facebook is teaming up with multiple media organizations to launch news programs on its Watch video service. The news organizations include ABC, CNN, and Fox News. Facebook will pay for the shows, which will appear exclusively on its platform. Many of the first shows will resemble cable and broadcast programming in terms of talent and tone. For example, CNN's Anderson Cooper will host a show called Anderson Cooper Full Circle. Another show, Fox News Update, will be hosted by Fox's Shepard Smith. It's all part of the company's push to repair its relationship with the news industry and restore user trust. When we return on First Edition, insurers are wanting Obamacare recipients to pay more for health insurance. Price details just ahead. Stay with us. News 2 will be right back. We're on the Health Watch for you. Hitting the road or the skies this summer, you may want to pack a snack. Traveling can wreak havoc on your diet, so plan ahead. Jeremy Roth has travel-friendly snacks to keep you on track.
If you're heading out on vacation, don't derail your diet. Take some healthy snacks to keep the munchies at bay. Airport security is strict on liquids, but not so much on sandwiches. Toss a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in a baggie and be sure to toast the bread first to prevent sogginess. Maybe trail mix is more your style? Well, lots of store-bought trail mix has added sugar and extra calories, so switch it up and make your own at home with nuts, dried fruit, and granola. If you're looking for something more grab and go, toss a packet of instant oatmeal into your bag before you leave town. All you have to do is ask a barista or flight attendant for a cup of hot water. But if you expect hot water may be hard to come by, breakfast bars are easy to find and are great if you're hungry between meals. Look for nut and granola-based bars that are high in protein and fiber. It's easy to overindulge and ruin your diet while on vacation, so think ahead and pack some snacks to stay healthy. For today's Health Minute, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Obamacare premiums could increase by double digits next year. Insurance companies in several states have requested large rate hikes for 2019. Many insurers are blaming the hikes on steps taken by President Donald Trump and Republicans in Congress. Most are citing two specific causes: the fact that Congress eliminated the individual mandate, which requires nearly all Americans to have coverage or pay a fine, and the expected expansion of health plans that don't adhere to health care regulations. Insurers still have a few weeks to file proposed rate changes. Regulators will review the requests. Premiums will be finalized in September, and open enrollment starts November 1st. Young children who learn about the health effects of salt online are less likely to reach for the salt shaker. Australian researchers followed 107 to 10-year-olds who took online health lessons and found nearly 1 in 4 reduced their salt intake if a shaker was not on their dinner table, compared to 70% who salted their food if a shaker was available. While negative social media interactions are more likely to cause depression in young adults. A University of Pittsburgh survey of 1,200 college students found those engaging in more negative than positive online interactions were at higher risk for depression. Women, non-graduates, and people of color were most susceptible. We're going to have a final look at the forecast when we come back. But first, here's a look at what's coming up later tonight on WRBL.
Motorsports. News 3 First Alert Weather Radar, brought to you by the Georgia Lottery.
And finally on First Edition, follow me here. October 5th, 1991, rookie police officer Matthew Bailey delivered a baby in New Jersey when the mother couldn't get to the hospital. Bailey retired, and the baby grew up into a man who also became a police officer. On Friday, nearly 27 years later, Bailey, the one who delivered the baby, was pulled over for a minor traffic violation by the officer, State Trooper Michael Patterson, which was the baby that he had delivered. So they got to talking and discovered a series of coincidences, including that Bailey had worked as an officer in Patterson's hometown. When Patterson told Bailey what street he lived on, Bailey said he delivered a baby there. And he remembered the house and the child's first name, which was Michael. So Patterson then shook Bailey's hand and said, quote, "My name is Michael Patterson, sir. Thank you for delivering me." Police didn't say if Bailey was cited. I'll bet he
he paid for it, or I know. What do you do if you already wrote out the ticket? How would you even engage in a conversation that in depth to get to that point?
know.
That's crazy. That's pretty neat. Well, probably because once it's just like military folks. When you know your police officer, you know somebody else's, and if you're military, you know you're military.
That
so maybe they.
So meant to happen.
Oh, absolutely. There's no coincidence there. That's a fascinating story. Well, I want to know. Did he have to pay a ticket or not? Come on, let's not. I can tell you this though. The citation we're going to get is just another good clear day, and then we're going to be cited for some showers coming up later part of the weekend. Okay. See that little disturbance off the coast of Georgia and the Carolinas? That's just adding a little more humidity. It's an area, low pressure spinning across the stalled out front. So not a spoiler to kick off the first part of the weekend. It's good. We'll talk about next week too in the tropics and lightning safety coming up at 6/5 Central. We're on your side.
All right, thanks, Bob. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here at the top of the hour.